I'm highly thankful for affording me the opportunity to speak on long-awaited and long-desired Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020. The bill seeks to replace Banking Regulation Amendment Ordinance 2020. It seeks to protect the interest of the depositors by amending Section 3, Section 45 and 56. Banking Regulation Act, I think first of all we should have a look on the Banking Regulation Act 1949. What it says that the Banking Regulation Act 1949 is a law that regulates banking firm in India. It was passed as the Banking Companies Act 1949. It came into force from 16th March 1949 and was changed to the Banking Regulation Act 1949 from 1st March 1966. The Act empowers the Reserve Bank of India to number 1, issue license to the commercial banks, number 2, regulate shareholders, shareholding and voting rights, number 3, supervises the appointment of boards and management, number 5, control moratorium, merger and liquidation, number 6, regulates the operations of banks, giving instructions for audit, issues instructions to the banks in the interest of public welfare and banking policy, and impose a penalty on banks if required. The changes made in the Banking Regulation Act 1949 by the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020, and particularly in the Section 3, 45 and 56. And according to this, the Regulation Act 1949 will not apply to number 1, primary agricultural credit societies and cooperative societies whose principal business is long-term financing for agricultural development. Though I need clarification from the Honorable Finance Minister that what it says about the cooperative land mortgage bank, because other provisions says that these two societies must not use the term bank, banker or banking in their name or in the connection with their business. So in cooperative land mortgage bank, the term bank is used, but it is not as such in a banking business, you can see, and act as an entity that clears checks. Issuance of shares and securities by cooperative banks. The bill envisages that cooperative banks may issue equity shares, special shares at face values or at a premium, preference shares to its members or to any other person residing within their area of operations. The bill states that no person shall be entitled to demand payment for the surrender of shares issued to him by the cooperative bank. In addition, a cooperative bank cannot withdraw or reduce its share capital except as directed by the RBI. Supervision of boards of directors. The Act states that RBI can supersede the board of directors of the multi-state cooperative bank for up to 5 years within certain conditions in the public interest or to protect depositors. Power to give exemptions to cooperative banks. The bill states that the RBI may exempt cooperative banks from certain provisions of the Act through notification. These provisions are related to employment, the qualification of the board of directors and the appointment of a chairman. RBI will decide who will get relaxation in employment. The Banking Regulation Act 1949 states that cooperative banks cannot open a new place of business or change the location of the banks outside the village, town or city in which it is currently located without permission from RBI. The Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020 discards this provision. It is expected that due to the change in the Banking Regulation Act 1949, political interference in the appointment of officers of the cooperative banks of the country will be reduced and their working style will change, which will increase the confidence of the general public in the banking system of India. So what is the rationale behind the amendment? In 1904, the Cooperative Credit Society Act was enacted to encourage cooperative movement in India. The cooperative movement was started in the country with a view to empower farmers, workers and other not so privileged section of society. The model was simple. The cooperative institutions will be owned and managed by the farmers, workers, and it will also work for their welfare. In a sense, the idea was that collective strength of less fortunate persons will sail them through the oceans of economic opportunity. Unfortunately, gross mismanagement, neglect and plain corruption, you can say, has almost destroyed the whole cooperation system in the country. And the classic example, as everybody has already said, PMC. So 73% of the funds have been given to only one entity. So it is the moral responsibility of the state government to ensure that the cooperative banks functioning within the state are not risking the depositors' money and engaging in fraudulent practices. They need to have monitoring practice in place to protect the interest of the depositors. Furthermore, due regard should have been given to the jurisdiction of the Registrar of Cooperative Society for smooth regulation and coordination between RCS and RBI. More than 9 lakh depositors are in deep difficulty in PMC, as everybody is knowing. So, I just want to say that the a look at the financial position of the cooperative bank shows that this is a sorry state of affairs. Out of 1,934 number of cooperative banks, total deposits are 10.10 lakh crore, loans and advances 7.52 lakh crore, and out of these, as Finance Minister has already told, that there are so many which having high net NPA ratio, above 6%, 592 cases are there. So figures have already been given. I just want to add that in fact these figures do not reveal the true picture, as most of the cooperative banks do not follow prudential accounting norms and conventions and therefore do not reflect their true picture. This situation is very scary, as poor farmers, workers' money is put at high risk, as is evidenced by the fact that as per RBI, over the last 2 decades, banking license of about 430 urban cooperative banks have been cancelled across the country, in most cases due to their precarious financial position. Therefore, the amendment is urgently required in this regard. And I just want to, in 1 minute I am just completing. Dual supervision means no supervision. I just want to, just for 1 minute, man. Dual